Hey guys, so today the supporter system was finally fully released in the game. We kind of had like the skeleton of the system in the game, and there was like a little thing at the bottom of the screen. It's like the supporter system is not actually released yet, blah, 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 blah. But now we have the supporters actually in the game. And if we go over to the support deck here, we can check. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Click this little like reverse button over here, and you can kind of interchange between your actual character team and your support deck. So, of course, the only two supporters currently available in the game are Yajirobe and Dende. Unfortunately, and again, many people have pointed this out, myself included, I am pretty disappointed that they went with this. The only way you can obtain supporters initially is from summoning. So if we go over to the summon screen here, the banner that just went live today, the LFGT Super Saiyan 3 Goku banner has Dende and Yajirobe on here. If you go over to the dropped list over here, there's actually a new listing of supporters here. So let's just say, for example, we go to this banner, we go to the drop list, supporters are not listed on here. It's Ultra Sparking Extreme Hero because this is an Ultra banner. We can take a look at, I don't know, like the Super Master Pack banner. This banner only has Sparking Extreme and Hero. So this is the first banner to feature the new... I wouldn't really call it a rarity, because it's not really a rarity. It's just a different type of character. It's a supporter character. The rates to pull supporters are 4%. So what they've done here is hero rates used to be 45%. They've just taken 4% from the hero rates and put it into the supporters. And if we go to the actual lineup here, of course, that 4% is then split between Dende and Yajirobe. So it's a 2% chance to pull each of these guys. So, you know, compared to a 1% sparking, why are they called 1% sparkings? Because they have a 1% chance to be pulled. So these guys have a double the chance of a 1% sparking to be pulled on here. And then in addition to that, we can go to the step list. And on step 4 in particular, with this summon, you can acquire a total of 10 characters and or supporters. I actually don't even say that here. I guess we could check right here. Why would it not just tell us that on here, that it's a double rate step? Doesn't even tell us. It's kind of strange. But if you look down here, supporter in very small text, supporter rates times 2. So the rates for supporters then goes from 4 to 8%, and then the rates for both the characters each are 4%. So it's pretty high chance to pull. If we go back to the drop list here and actually click into Dende, you'll see that there's a level 1. This is like essentially before you've pulled your first copy of Dende. It'd probably be easier just to go take a look at my version of the character here. Let's take a look at Dende. So Dende is level 18, and it says 0 out of 1. So as of right now, it's only taken one copy of each of the character to get him to the next level. As they previously explained in the Legends information, the maximum level for supporters is level 99. So if you want to get a character from level 1 to level 99, you have to pull enough of the shards. I guess we'll just call them shards, right? These like little things over here that have the Dende's face on it there. You have to pull enough of those shards to level Dende up to level 99. Now, if we take a look, I don't think there's actually a way to do this here, but if we go back to... Can you do this from the... I don't actually know if you can do this here. No, you can't. If you click into... So when you summon for Dende or Yajirobe and you pull one of them, and you click on the actual shard that you summoned, it says the maximum amount that you could hold is 111. So I think what that means is it takes 111 shards to maximize the levels for Dende and the Yajirobe, which means 111 times you have to pull the character to get them to level 99. Now, that is certainly not the way that they are intending for you to maximize these characters. The way that they want you to do this, and by the way, you can also purchase the first copy of the characters from the exchange shop here, from the summon coin shop. You'll notice that Yajirobe is not actually in here. That's because I purchased a copy of Yajirobe with my coins here. This is kind of another questionable decision by them, but you can only purchase a copy of the supporters if you don't have one already. So because I pulled Dende already, you can even see it says condition fewer than one owned. So if I click on this little I button here, cannot be exchanged for if you own one of the following items, supporter Dende. So I have Dende, and I pulled Dende before I even had enough coins to buy him from the shop. So I can't even buy this from the shop. But that's fine. Right? The intended way that they want you to do this is to pull the supporters from the banner. Currently there is no other way of obtaining the supporters from the banner. Or sorry, there's no other way of obtaining supporters in the game besides summoning on these banners. So they want you to pull the initial copy from the banner, and then what they want you to do is go over to the shop, and there is a new Chrono Crystal shop here. Click on this, and in here, you can actually exchange for tickets where you can get guaranteed level ups on the character. Now, this is something that I really was waiting to see how they would price this, and the pricing here is really where I think a lot of my criticism is going to come into effect. So essentially the way that they've done this, you can see that there's one exchange here for Yajirobe where it's 100 CC for 1, and you can see that there's one for 500 CC for 5. So essentially the way that they are valuing the shards for supporters is it's just one level equals 100 CC. So essentially, to get a character maxed out, if you need 111 of these shards to get to level 99 on these characters, you would then theoretically need to spend 11,000 CC, because essentially you're pulling the first copy from the banner, and then you need to level up 98 times to get to level 99, right? So it's going to be 11,000-ish CC to get the character to level 99, assuming that I understand the system correctly, which is a lot. Now, people are going to complain about that, and I think it's justified, but don't forget that they said that the level 30 breakpoint for these supporters is essentially where you get the bulk of what they're offering. So if we go in here, actually that's not what we want to do. Can I guess I can't actually inspect Yajirobe from here. If we just go into Yajirobe's abilities here, you'll notice that under the support abilities, there's another set of abilities down here, enhanced at level 30. Essentially what will happen is it's kind of like a Zenkai ability, where this ability, you'll see it says Slash from the Shadows 1. This is Slash from the Shadows 2. So when you get to character level 30, this will change from this ability to this ability, and it will become more powerful. And in addition to that, you'll also see that on the top of the screen, we have Support Z abilities. Support Z abilities are essentially the same thing you would expect from a normal Z ability, where the characters that you're bringing into the fight will benefit from those stats added to their stat pools. So Yajirobe, for example, if you have him on your support deck, doesn't even have to be the support character that you bring into the fight. As long as he's just in your support deck, you are getting 3,767 strike attack and strike defense, which is, pretty significant. So that will also increase the higher the levels of the character goes up. So again, this is what they said. They said that the biggest jump in the power levels of these supporters will happen at the second stage, which means you really, I think for most players, should really only be focusing on getting these supporters to level 30 if you have them at all. Anything beyond level 30, you're going to get a bit more benefit from the Z ability. Your ability is actually going to level up maybe a little bit better. You're going to get a little bit more benefit from that as well. But again, the bulk of the value of these supporters comes from getting them to level 30. Anything beyond that is essentially just... I wouldn't really equate it to the difference between an S and a God rank equip, but it's not as severe as you would think, which I think is good. But, again, my issue here mainly after seeing how they've handled the CC shop here for the level up system is I think 100 CC per level is a little bit too high. I would have made it 50. I think 50 probably is way more fair, right? So assuming it takes 3,000 CC to get a supporter from level 1 to 30, simply just using the CC exchange shop here, right? If it's 100 CC per level, then, I guess it would be 2,900, right? Because you'd want to go from 1 to 30, so you need to level up 29 times. So if it's 1 to 30 and you need to level up 29 times, it would be 2,900 CC. That's, it's still high, right? I think having that number, 1,500, 1,400 to get a supporter from 1 to 30, to me that sounds a bit more. To me that sounds a bit more fair at the end of the day. But yeah, that's I don't really like that they've structured it this way, but. We'll go ahead and just do this just so that I can actually show how this works. Let's go ahead and pick this up. Purchase and consecutive summon. Let's go. Okay, so it actually is a summon animation. Interesting. This is kind of like Zenkai summons. And I assume this is just going to be 5 of the, like... Yeah, it's going to be 5 of these flying in. Oh, no, it's just 1 of them. Okay, but it's 5 times 5, yeah. All right, so there we go. That is Yajirobe leveling up because I bought those. If we go back, that will now be sold out, so I can't buy this again. Let's go ahead and... I guess we might as well buy this one, too. Why not? Let's do that. And then, if you noticed, there's 2 ways that this CC shop can refresh. There's the first way, which is by using rare metals. You can actually use rare metals to refresh some of the lineups in the shop. It doesn't refresh everything. It looks like it just refreshes the specific row that you're on. So there's a supporter row. There's a special row here. So I can use... I could use 100 of my 929,000 rare metals to refresh the this part of the shop here. Or, at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice that the shop does refresh every 8 hours. So, you can also wait that out. I mean, 8 hours is quite a long time. I don't know why they made it so long. That's another thing we can criticize. Like, why is it 8 hours? I don't know. Let's go ahead and do this. Actually, can we... What if I click on this? Current lineup. Lineup update details. Oh, you can actually check... Okay, this is actually good. You can actually check what is possible to show up here. By updating this lineup, a random selection of items from lineup 2 will be chosen. Lineup 2. I guess it's this one, right? The second one? I think. Not entirely sure. Sure. Anyway, let's go ahead and try this. Lineup update. The lineup for supporter has been updated. Okay, so now we have, I guess it's just random, right? We can go ahead and do some more of these. And it looks like even once you've updated the lineup, it still maintains the time. Which is actually different than Dokkan's Baba Shop. Because like Dokkan's Baba Shop, what will happen is if you update the lineup manually, the 30-minute refresh time will actually refresh automatically. But because I use the rare metals here, and I refresh the time, it's still 3 hours until it resets. So it doesn't actually reset the 8-hour timer. Okay, and then basically this is what happens here. I think what I'll do is I'll just show what it looks like to get a supporter to level 30. Because that will be like the first change of the group of the supporter, or the break point of the supporter. So we will just keep doing this. Okay, we got a 5 here. Yeah, it can be kind of annoying, you know. I don't know. I'm not sure I like this because it's just a lot of clicking, dude. All right, let's do this now. Yep, let's just skip all this. So Dende's 22. Let's go refresh again. I guess one thing to note as well is it doesn't actually increase the amount of rare metals it takes per time that you refresh it. I was thinking maybe every time you would refresh the shop, it would like go from 100, 200, 300, but no, it stays at 100, which is nice. So I basically have infinite, for all intents and purposes, I have infinite infinite refreshes here. Okay, we got a level 5 and a level 1 for Dende here. Again, once we get to level 30, I think I'll probably be done here. Just wanted to quickly explain how the supporter system works. Yep, let's do this now. So Dende is going to be 28 here, I think. Yep. All right, let's do one more refresh. Okay, I think Yajirobe is going to be the one that gets the 30 here. Oh, wait, you can skip the... Okay, wait, I just realized you could actually skip this animation. Hold on. He's level 29. Are you kidding me? Okay, look, there's a little button we can click here, actually. Skip summon animation. I wasn't even reading it. Okay, there we go. Perfect. That's a lot. That's way better. Okay, good. All right, let's refresh one more time. They're both at 29. How convenient. All right, let's do Yajirobe here. All right, let's see what this looks like. So we got the 32. And then here's where it unlocks the art. Okay. Damn, not even like a sound effect. There's not even like a flashy animation. like at least when you Zenkai a character and you get them to a higher Zenkai level, it like plays a little animation and it makes a sound. Like this is just pops up. There's not even a sound effect on this. What? Okay. Sure. Thanks, dude. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do the same thing for Dende here. Dende, level 30. There we go, the Namek background. Okay. So that's basically how you level up supporters once you've pulled the initial copy. Actually, I assume what probably happens if we go back here, if you don't have the initial base supporter, this will probably just look like this. Like you probably can't even purchase these, right? Because you don't even own the supporter. So that kind of is the part that sucks about this, is if you don't summon on the banner specifically, you just can't even get the base supporter. I don't like that. And then once you have the supporter, you can go over to the character screen here, and I would recommend just, I mean, there's no, if you have both of these supporters, there's no reason not to just put them both into the deck, because you're getting a benefit from the Z ability from both of them, right? So Yajirobe, right, level 32 supporter, he's giving 7,815 for strike attack and strike defense from his Z ability here. And this is, you know, the maximum member. Level 99 supporters give 10,000 to all stats, or 10,000 to these stats, right? So you're only really missing out on like 20% of the total Z ability for the character being at level 30. So the next 70 levels, this is why they said the majority of what you get is going to be realized at level 30. The first 30 levels, you're really getting the majority of the benefit from the supporter regardless. So it's not as bad as it seems, but I think when you weigh the pros and cons of this system, I think the cons vastly outweigh the pros. And that's like not even really that debatable, I don't think. I think later down the line, once we have a ton of supporters in the game and people are just pulling them left and right on tons and tons of banners, and you have different options to counter different characters that are troublesome, and you know it makes the game more interesting and dynamic, and there's different ways to play the game. That's going to make the game way, you know, I don't want to say way better, but it's going to at least change the way that you can play the game, which I think is a good thing. But as it stands right now with the initial release and the way that they've introduced the system to the game, I don't think they've done a very good job here. And I think most people would probably agree with me. So you guys can let me know down below what you think of the supporter system. Again, the implementation itself, not good. I don't think it was handled well at all. But I actually am optimistic for the future of the supporter system. But yeah, there's things that I hope that they will change about this. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the Zenkai system. When the Zenkai system first got introduced, it was horrible. There was massive pushback on it. People hated it, and eventually over time it got way better. So I'm hoping that the same thing ends up happening with the supporter system, because I actually really do think this has a lot of potential for the game. But again, me and I think most players would agree, this was not handled well. So let me know what you guys think about the system. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.